And money management, two things near and dear to our hearts. So we're going to talk more about that right now. So let me pull up my notes, which are not those. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is going to be some of the things that top agents are doing to get business today. So it'll be a combination of how to make money and keep it, and then also where business is coming from. So write this down. Here's a question. What is getting in the way of you earning a lot of money this year? What is getting in the way of you earning a lot of money this year? Anyone want to throw some ideas out? Anybody
fear?
Sorry?
Rejection? I'd say fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Okay. All right. Okay. What else?
Inaction.
Getting too many
Inaction.
no's.
Really, really good one. Write that down. Inaction.
Ooh.
Inaction for any reason. Everybody agree?
Yep.
Okay. Inaction. Really important. All right. So I wrote down here, Anthony Robbins teaches us to find someone doing what you want to do and do what they do. Have you guys heard that before?
Repeat.
Yes.
Someone doing what you want to do and emulate what they do. So part of that is we bring you as an organization, probably, every Thursday, we bring you a top agent talking about what they do. Now, not everyone wants to do all the things that they do. However, most of these agents earn consistently in excess of $1 million a year. So there's people that are doing deals. Now, maybe you don't want to make $1 million a year, and that's okay. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to show you what's possible. So Anthony Robbins teaches in his first book, which was not Awaken the Giant Within. It was before that. Anybody remember the name?
Unlimited Power.
Unlimited Power. Exactly. Thank you. Unlimited Power. One of the first things he teaches is find someone doing what you want to do and do that. Okay. So I wrote down here, some of the problem is that a number of us have no written goals. Write that down. No written goals, no schedule, don't know the scripts, don't know your presentation, don't know how to make a strong presentation, and don't know how to handle objections. Okay, now write those things down. All right. No written goals, no schedule, don't know your scripts, don't know your presentation, and don't know how to handle objections. So, any one of you have at least one of those you're not doing yet? Gabby, thank you for being honest. So, do you see a problem here? We know what to do. We know what to say. We know how to say it. We've been, as an organization, teaching, regurgitating, sharing, having these classes together, et cetera, and there's those areas that we are falling short in. For whatever reason, the agents that we interview that make $1 million a year don't fall short in very many of those places. What's the common area that top real estate agents tend to fall short in? Miguel, you know where it is.
Consistency.
Well, consistency is one, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Contacts.
What's the one activity that top agents tend to fall short on that if they did more often would make more money consistently over time?
Prospecting.
Follow up.
Follow
Follow
up.
up.
They'd be working their database.
Calling their POIs,
Now, sorry, what was that, Valerie? I think it was
calling their COIs, calling their past clients.
calling past client and sphere of influence is a common issue,
Ooh.
right, Miguel?
Yep.
Common issue. They prospect generally. They know their scripts, they know their dialogues. Some of you do the same thing, but we miss the past client and sphere of influence. So let's stop doing that for the balance of this year. All right. All right. So the good news is that people have done this using the system we teach. They can do it. I have to do what they do. Write this down. I have to do what the top agents do. I have to say what the top agents say. I have to act how the top agents act so I can have what they have. Anybody disagree with that? Hard to disagree with that. Okay, here's what they do daily. You need to make sure this is in your systems. They generate new leads daily. Now, we call it prospecting, but if you don't like that word, then we can just use the word generate new leads daily. That's what they do. 5-6 days a week, period. End of conversation. Are they happy doing it? No. Are they happy having $1 million a year to spend? Yes. They use a daily schedule to maximize their 8 hours. You don't have a schedule, you need to get one. They're not hard to build. Systematize your business. You need a system for lead generation, for listing properties, for escrows. You need systems to save time and focus on generating. Everybody with me so far? Now,
Yes.
if you only did what I just lined out, could you make more money this year up till now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
Can
Right.
you repeat? System to lead generation?
I'll send you the notes
Okay.
later. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
I'll post the notes later. Systematize your business. Okay. They're on coaching calls every week. You know, it's weird. Sometimes it's unbelievable to me how someone would miss a coaching call with me or with Robert or Patty or one of their coaches. We're here to help you. That's all we're here to do. Do you know why most agents miss a coaching call with us?
Because it's free.
Well, that's part of it, but
I think it's because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
They don't have a schedule.
Well, they don't have a schedule because it's free, because it's not important enough to them. But the main thing is they didn't do the activities they said they were going to do. They're embarrassed.
Agree.
That's usually it, the biggie. Okay, that's the biggie. Look, sometimes you have a doctor's appointment and sometimes you have stuff. We get it. But, you know, it doesn't cost you anything for this coaching call. It doesn't cost you anything for this information. It's weird. You know, right now there's, I wanted to get this number. Hold on a second. You know, there's 44 people on this call. Robert generally does the call. I don't know how he gets a few more people than I got, because when people saw I was on here, they knew I was going to harass them. So they bounced off really fast. You think that's possible?
Not
No.
true.
Not true.
No.
No.
Not true.
All right. So track your activities daily. Track your activities daily. We provide for you at no cost, maybe we should charge you for it, a really thorough numbers analyzer that actually works pretty darn well. It's not perfect because it is an Excel spreadsheet, but it works pretty darn well and can give you some guidance. And I would say, no matter how hard we try, no matter what we threaten, even though agents don't complete it or start it or keep it up, I would say 50% of the agents that have it, that are in some kind of a coaching program with us. And right now, in direct and indirect coaching, we have about 180 to 200 of our agents that are being coached directly or indirectly by the company. Use the coaching, use the tracking device. Monitor market statistics. A lot of you are much better on InfoSparks, but you're not as good as you could be. All right. Set outrageous goals outside of the box. Create accountability within the business. And the problem is that most agents, have is they have an options. So write that down. I have too many options. I have too many options. I wrote down here, you need to say what they say. They use the Mike Ferry scripts most of the time, not perfectly, but most of the time. They post their scripts and dialogues in what we call a prospecting cockpit, okay? So you can do it, put it up on a screen, put it in front of you right now. I have most of my scripts and dialogues in front of me here. Internalize the scripts, change that, internalize to memorize the scripts. Why do I say memorize the scripts?
So you don't sound like if you're reading something.
Well, that's part of it, but if you internalize them, you should get there too. Here's what I learned. Most of us would have a different definition for internalize. If I asked Hilda, what does internalize the scripts mean to her? If I asked Kamal, if I asked Tyrone, each of you would give me a slightly different definition of internalize. Would you agree with that statement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
But if I said to you, tell me what memorize the script means to you, we'd all have a similar answer. Agreed or disagree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agreed.
That's why I say memorize. Memorize those scripts finally and once and for all. All right. I wrote down here, top agents ask questions during a selling conversation. Selling is not telling. Telling is repelling. Ooh. Explaining and describing things is unattractive to the customer. Many of you give predictions of the future. Stop telling them what you're going to do and start asking them if they want you to do it. My plan is to door knock 200 homes around your area. Let me ask you something. Would you want an agent to do that for you, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? Or would 300 be better? No, I want 300. Great. Hire me. I'll give you 300. In fact, I'll give you a bonus today. Sign with me now and I'll do 400. Do you get how that works, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yep.
Down here. Okay, think how a top agent thinks. Business owner mindset instead of employee. Business owner mindset instead of employee. Question. When you go to the mall and you want to go to the women's store, the men's store, and it's an independent, it's not a big chain. And you get into the mall and you're running a couple minutes late, so it's like 5 minutes to 9. All you have to do is get one thing, but the door's locked. Is that a business owner that owns that store, is running that store that night, or is it an employee?
Employee.
Of course, it's an employee. The employee closes the door and locks it up a couple minutes before 9 or 9 o'clock. Oh, okay, let's go to this. It's 9 o'clock, you're pounding on the door, you want to make a purchase, and the person behind there isn't opening the store to make the last sale. Employee or employer?
Employee.
Employee. An employer, get the business mentality of grinding everything out of it. Door knock it, phone canvas it. generate the lead, convert the lead to an appointment, make a personal presentation, ask them to buy. If they don't buy, follow up later and ask them to buy again. You know how to get over the fear of prospecting, get on the phone for 3 straight days, make calls 8 hours a day, and you're over the fear of prospecting. Do you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I knew a guy, actually, you know him too. Hardy's his last name. Used to own Success Magazine. Ring a bell? Darren Hardy. Anyone ring a bell?
No.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yes.
Darren Hardy. Look
Okay.
him up.
Yes,
Look him up. Look him up.
very famous.
He was 19 years old when he started in the real estate business up in the Northern California in the San Francisco San Francisco Bay area. And I don't know, he had one mentor that just shared this idea with him. And he said, look, take 100 business cards, pass out 100 business cards. And what you want to try and do is get as many no's every day as you possibly can. So your goal is to get 100 no's a day if you can get 100 no's a day. All right. So he said, why do I want 100 no's a day? Because after 2 weeks of 100 no's a day, you will never be bothered by no again. You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
No,
That makes sense. That makes sense.
no, absolutely no stops us. No
Mm.
should never stop us.
Mm,
You guys with me?
Yeah.
Yes,
You want
sir.
to solve it? Just go out, look for 100 no's a day. So I wrote down here, choose to see the positive in every occurrence. It's not what happens, it's how you react to it. We had a conversation before some of you came on, before we started, about some wins. And one of the agents was talking about how she was a little bit disappointed at her open house. She only had 9 buyers through. I personally thought that was a big deal in today's market to have 9 buyer groups come through. And I looked at it as, yee, good job. Sure beats nobody coming through. It's just the way we look at it. It's not what happens, it's how we choose to react to it. I've been teaching that to my children since the day they were born. My grandchildren just hate it now. But you ask them, I know, Papa. It's not what happens, it's how you react to it. So why are you crying? Ooh. Top agents understand that the sales is a numbers game. You play the numbers and you track your numbers. Here's something you have to do every single day, either in the evening before you finish the day, write it down, or in the morning before you start the day. How can I improve on yesterday? Or how can I improve on today if you're doing it tonight? That's a constant thought, excuse me. People who succeed at a high level are consistently looking on how they can do a better job. Then I can have what they have. So what do top producers have? Huge production, enormous income, more choices, more opportunity, amazing experiences, better stuff, better friends, a high level of confidence, much more peace of mind, less stress, and more free time. Anybody want some of that?
Mhm.
Me.
Me. Exactly.
Me.
All right. So, questions on what I covered so far?
On point.
All right.
I have a question.
Of course.
How to build the new sales like this grinding wish? Can I tell you, like that you always go step forward? step forward to make great customer service. To have the last call. Is this only mindset, or is just something that motivates you?
Marjan, I'm not clear on the question.
So, how to build this hunter wish, to be a hunter for the finding the new business? Is this
Well, that's a very interesting question. So there are some agents who are really good at customer service when a lead is generated and handed to them. Okay? And they're going to take care of the lead very nicely. Those agents will generally make a living. They probably should be on a team. They're frustrated because they're not going out and having the hunter mentality. How important are your goals to you? If you want to do 12 to 15 transactions a year and you have a service mentality, you're going to be fine servicing those deals. And a lot of those people, Marjan, are really buyers agents or agents that do 12 to 15, 12 to 25 deals a year. Agents that have a killer mentality, a hunter mentality, your words, okay, are people who have very strong goals and don't want to wait for business to come to them. As an example, my dad was in the retail business. Okay, retail business means that he had a store and he had people come to him. He'd run an ad. Some people would show up. They would come to him and they would buy a couch. He was in the convertible sofa business for years. And they would come to him. So a couple of summers, I would go up. I was just starting real estate, but I would go visit him for a week or two and kind of sit in the store. And I was bored to tears. I hated it. Hated it. Okay. And so I would get on the phone and I would call people and see if they wanted to buy a convertible sofa bed. It was just natural to me. He looked at me like I was completely on drugs. And how could I possibly do that? All right. My goals, my drive, my inner whatever won't let me do that. It won't let me sit still. All right. So you have to kind of look for that. But my goals are so big personally and throw me out of bed in the morning, even now at this point in my life, that I can't imagine not doing that. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, of course. And I just wanted to say that you have every morning, you have a great energy, always full of energy. And I want to ask you, what are you doing? Which exercise?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I get up excited every morning to do that job. Okay. Robert said, hey, can you help me with this? Sure. I checked my schedule to make sure I didn't have any conflicts, but absolutely. All right. That's a really good question. And you have to keep thinking of the answer and try to figure it out. I've shared this with everyone a number of times over my career. And that is, I figured out one day that I made a commitment to send my children to the school of their choice, the college of their choice. Their job was to get the grades and the SAT scores, et cetera, whatever it took to get in. It was my job to pay for it. Okay.
And that was your goal.
And that was my goal. Okay. That was my goal. I made that promise to them. So I'm the kind of dad that doesn't promise my kids a lot, but if I were to fail on a promise as a dad, I would melt. That makes sense to anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I would make this promise to them that you will not have to pay for school. I will pay for it. And even with one of my kids, business was so horrible that he went and got the loan for paying for the school, but I paid the loan. That makes sense?
Yep.
So he still didn't pay for school. I did, but but business was so bad at the time, I had to figure another way to do this. So I did that. There was no way I wasn't going to pay for that. So I would get in the mindset in the morning that my children did their work, they did their goals, they did their homework, they did their SATs, they did their applications, they did everything they were supposed to do. And then they would come home to me and go, Dad, no, I got into Stanford. It's so good. I got into Harvard. It's so good. Yay, 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 yay. And they'd have their hand out and say, I need $50,000 by Friday to pay the first tuition. And I wouldn't have it. This is where I put my head. Okay. And as a dad, I would melt. And the emotion threw me out of bed in the morning and put me on the streets and put me on phone calls and making calls and talking to people I didn't want to talk to. Does that make sense to anyone?
Sure.
That's what
Yeah.
I did. I 4 children, put them all through college. So now,
Necessity and having strong goals.
well,
is-
that's but not only the goals, the how terrible it would feel to me because I'm motivated by pain. And that would have been painful. Okay, so let me do this. Let me shift gears real quick because I promised to give you some information about how top agents are getting business in this marketplace. Number one, not necessarily in any particular order. All right. So you need to set your MLS up to when the status changes from active to canceled, you are to get it in real time. Don't ask me how to do this. Robert knows, and I think Jesse knows.
Can you
But-
repeat that?
Okay, change the MLS status from when it changes in the MLS, when the client says, you're fired, it goes from active to canceled. You guys with me?
Yep.
Okay, now, most of the services will give you cancels, but you get the cancels when you get the expireds at midnight. But if you change the status to canceled in real time, if it cancels at 3 p.m, you will get notified of that cancellation status change. Now, there's not a lot of that going on right now, but there is some of it. And when it cancels, you want to know about it. Now, don't make your area all of Orange County because you can't service that. But you can make it a smaller area that anything that cancels in Irvine, as an example, or anything that cancels in Rancho, California or wherever it cancels, that you could get notified on those in real time. Your job is to drive over and knock on the door. Don't wait till tomorrow. You can make a phone call, but I'm here to tell you, you want to door knock that. You want to door knock in real time. Early bird gets the worm on these deals. Number one. Number two, remember, still in no order. In your core area, whatever that is, go see every for sale by owner in person, no fail, as soon as you see it come up for sale. So be tracking all services. Now, not any one of these is going to give you 15 listings a month. But there's 17 points here, and if each one gave you a listing, potentially that's 17 listings. This is what top agents are doing to get business. In your core area, third one, investor, non-owner occupieds, out of state owners first. And then out of county. Why? Because when people move out of state, most people delete out of state owners out of their past client and sphere base, don't get in touch with them. Well, these people still own property here, A, and B, they still have friends and neighbors and relatives that they could refer business to. Some of you have asked why getting bigger for masters and full service realty makes sense for you, the agent. Hey, You know, we have relationships in, I don't know, 15 or 20 states where you actually could earn referral fees on loans. Okay, I don't know of another company that's like that, or certainly that promotes it. All right. So you could get $2,000-3,000 a referral fee on a loan just because the guy moved to Colorado and he's buying a house. You could put him with a local lender there and get a referral fee from something like that. We teach for you to get referral fees in the local area. A number of our agents are making between $15,000 and $35,000 a year in referral fees. Some of the top agents even more. Some of you are not sending out one referral. Stop doing that. All right. That's investor, non-owner occupied. Old active listings in your core area. There's a number of listings that aren't selling because in most cases they're overpriced or they're with an out-of-area broker. Go identify old active listings and preview them. Don't solicit them, preview them. Make sure you meet the owners. I wrote down here, go to all expired and new expireds in your core area. Keyword, all. Don't miss any. All right. I wrote down here, for rent by owner. For rent by owner. There are many for rent by owner services that you can get. Call the for rent by owner. This is a short-term and long-term opportunity. Short-term and long-term opportunity. The short-term opportunity is you call them and use our for rent by owner script and see if they want to get their home sold in this marketplace, thereby you generating a new listing. That happens, not as often as I'd like to see it happen, but it happens. However, the area that most of you are missing is that with these for rent by owners, you have an opportunity to capture a cell phone number in most cases. So you now have a cell phone number. I don't know if you know this or not, but people that own one rental generally own two. Did you guys know that?
Yep.
People who own one rental generally own two. And most people that own two rentals generally own their own home. So now you have the cell phone number of somebody that has 3 pieces of property. Now, if you did that 3 times a day, and you did that for 5 days a week, that's 15 of those that drop into your database every week. And because you're doing it now, even if they say, hey, I rented it, they probably rented it in the last 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Would you guys agree?
Mm.
So you mark the calendar to recall them in 9 months. Because 9 months from now, that lease will be, 1-year lease will be coming due. And you can call them in 9 months and say, hey, remember we talked, yada, yada, yada. Are you planning on doing anything? Do you want to buy another rental property? How can I help? Etc. Great source of business. Now here's the long play. So if you get 15 of those a week and you put them in your system and you do it for 40 weeks, that's 600 name and phone numbers of people that own 300 properties. If you did that for 3 years, you would have a database of 1,800 people with people that own 3, and you'd have the cell number. Now, how valuable is that database to you for the rest of your career?
Well, very valuable.
Wow is right. Okay, good stuff. Not one of my favorite sources of business, but in your core area, distressed properties, NOD. I don't like them because everybody's depressed. So it's not my thing, but if you like working that, have at it. The next one, a great source of business, I've been touting this for 15 years, are 2-bedroom, 1 and 2 bath condominiums that are owner occupies. These are half the sells and half the buys. Why? Because when they bought them 5 or 6 years ago, the condo, it was a 2-bedroom, 1+ bath. They were a newly married couple or a living together couple, or maybe they had no children or 1 children. Now, 3 to 5 years later, they have 2 children or 3 children. And this 2-bedroom condo with steep stairs is a hazard for their children, and they become have to sells, not want to sells. So instead of, remember I told you that in LA County, single family home owners live in the property 22 to 24 years. Well, condo owners in the 2-bedroom range live in the properties 5 to 8 years. So they're going to turn 3 times as often as a owner, as a single family home. So you have 3 times as many opportunities. A. B, you have a real big opportunity of double ending this property because you're working that area. And C is you also can upsell the seller, and now you have the potential for 3 sides on that 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a phenomenal source of business. Stop fighting me on that one and go do it. Get some business now. Okay, next one. Work old. Are you guys getting tired of this?
No.
There any good
No.
good ideas here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Yay. Has anyone heard me talk about these before?
Yes.
Okay, good.
No.
Don't
First
answer,
time.
don't have to answer. Has anybody done any of this before?
Yes. Some.
Good, good. So I
In the
wrote down here,
past. Yeah.
work old buyer leads that you couldn't do deals for before. We have a ton of buyer opportunities that came to us before. They couldn't do the deal. FHA, VA, marginal credit, low down payment, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I got to tell you something. In some of our areas, you can do a deal today. So don't hold back in calling them and seeing what's going on. Although the window of opportunity that we had 6 months ago has closed dramatically compared to where it is today. So I've been encouraging you to work those deals, and some have and some haven't. I wrote down here, past client and sphere. 60% of the business we do in our company comes from past client and sphere. Stop ignoring it. Number 11, door knock. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of you, and I won't point at you out, say in a listing presentation, you're going to door knock 200 homes around the listing. Okay, or it's written down in your plan of action. Did you know that some people don't actually do that? Did you know that? A great source of business is knocking the 200 doors. You say you're going to do it, do it. Be a person of integrity, but don't do 200, do 400, do 600. Blow everybody else out of the water. Then when you do go to the door knock, the 2-bedroom, 2-baths, or the expireds, or the for sale by owners, door knock 10 around each one. So you're going to the expired, you door knocking the expired, you're door knocking the previewing the property. That's great. Go see it. But then door knock 10 around each one. Keep in touch with clients that have moved out of the area. Some come back, some have friends and family. We kind of talked about that a little bit. And you want to make sure that you're working your pipeline business, your now business. Have to buys and have to sell. If you have to get great at qualifying. If they're not have to buys and have to sells, put them on the back shelf, don't work them. Yeah, but these are really good, Neil. They're not. If you've determined they're not have to buys and have to sells, they don't have to buy and have to sell. Occasionally you're going to make a mistake, but more often you won't. Questions on anything I covered?
Oh, Neil, how do I find the for sale by owner?
There are services out there. There are services you would pay for, like Arch Telecom or Vulcan 7. If you don't want to pay for them, check on forsalebywowner.com, go to Zillow.com. There are free services like that. When you're driving down the street and there's a sign that says, home for sale, stop, take the information and go see the house. By the way, most agents never do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Neil,
Good question. Any
I
other?
don't, yes, Neil, I do. I don't know if it was Robert or yourself who mentioned, when you're doing your cold calling, if they don't answer within 3 rings, hang up,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
And then just go on and then just
And just go to the next.
right. And then, but we do come back to those people
I think
at
it's
the end.
I think it's a good idea to come back to them, especially if they're new expireds.
Okay.
Hey, by the way,
Okay.
can I give you guys a tip? Did you know?
Yes.
Did you know that if you call 3 times, you ring 3 times, and then you hang up, and you call again, the odds of somebody picking up doubles? Do you know that?
I did it and it didn't work.
Okay, but if you
Can you
do
say
it
that
enough,
again, Neil, please?
if you call an expired and they don't pick up in 3 rings, hang up and call back
Like call back immediately?
immediately. Your number of pickups doubles. Now, it might not happen in every case right away, but that's just one of the, almost everyone, if you get that happening, people get concerned and they pick up the phone.
Funny thing is,
Sense.
I fell for that one a few days ago. They called twice and I did pick up.
Yeah, no, I do it too. I do it too. So it's just little tricks of the trade. Okay, questions on anything we covered? We covered a lot of information.
Mhm.
I
Yes,
have
we
a
did.
question, Neil, Miriam. Yeah, my question is, how can we change the mindset from buyer's agent to seller's agent, like to listings agent?
It's real simple, just do it.
Okay.
Well, okay, Miriam. You're an employee when you work with buyers, and you don't ever impress me as an employee.
Mhm.
You're a business owner, correct?
Correct.
Be a business owner. Be in control. All right?
Mhm.
Buyers, I know that agents think buyers are better and they're faster. The truth is they're not.
No.
The truth is they really aren't. The reason we don't go after sellers at the level we should, for most of us, we don't have the skills.
Mhm.
We know we don't have the skills. Okay?
Yes.
Look, as an example, as a recruiter, I go after top agents, I go after companies, I go, because I know what to say, I know how to say it, I have the experience. I go after teams, I go after people that make $1 million a year. I have no problem with that. Most recruiters wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Okay? You have to build that. That's an attitude that you just build within. I don't have an option. I have to talk to these people. These people need me. They don't know it yet. And even if they reject me, that was a mistake on their part, not on mine. Because people that I work with make a lot of money. They just do. That makes sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So hopefully that'll help, Miriam.
Thank you. Thank you,
Just
Neil.
continue to get stronger at being a great listing agent.
Okay.
Okay? Just every day, spend at least an hour getting stronger on your scripts and dialogues, on your listing presentation, on your properties that you preview, on your pricing. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Neil.
You're welcome. All right, other questions?
Neil, did you say on expired that you said to set the search for canceled listings because they come on before it shows as well, what was that point? I missed that.
Okay, it's a status thing. Okay, in status in the MLS, I'm not sure how to do it. I know it can be done. When the status changes from listed or active, excuse me, it changes from active, and the client fires the agent, we go in and we change the status from active to canceled, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When a property expires in status, it expires at midnight, and the system is set up to tell everyone that's asking on an expired. So you get that list every night at midnight, it comes out. Get it?
Mhm.
Cancels come out at the same time unless you change it to in real time. Because canceled come out in real time, except for the ones that aren't changed. And we don't change, and I don't know why we don't change them, but we don't. This is one of those little known tricks, okay? Now remember, a canceled you can solicit. You cannot solicit a withdrawn in our multiple listing service, all right? Okay, that's stepping on toes. Can't solicit an active. You can solicit a canceled, because canceled says canceled contract. Okay, that makes sense?
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Neil, is there, do we use the expired script on a cancel?
No, just say, hey, I noticed you fired your agent.
Just like that.
That's it. Came through today, just now, that you fired your agent. What happened? And they'll say, well, I really didn't fire them. We just wanted to put it back
He
on the market.
fired me.
You know, so, hey, you know, I noticed that you fired your agent. What happened? Look,
Neil,
we're afraid to
how
be
do I
direct.
go about?
I have to tell you something. The most direct people are the ones making money.
Yep.
Be direct, make money. Don't be direct, don't make money. Mike Ferry is very direct, yes or no? Most of us don't like it. We're very uncomfortable with it. But what I've learned in my 50 years of doing this is be more direct. And look, I'm an amiable. I want people to like me. I don't like it that they don't like me because I'm too direct or whatever the thing is. But I do much better when I'm more direct than I am not being direct. I'm not mean, I'm just direct. That makes sense?
Yes.
Hey, you fired your agent. I did. Well, you canceled the contract. That's the same thing as firing. What happened? How can I be of service? You want to still sell your house? Yeah, good. I specialize in people who cancel and fire their agent's contract. Let's talk.
Neil, just going back to.
Thank you. That's excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Going back to the expired listings. You're saying that when they expire to go door knock on their door?
100%. 100%. No one else is doing it.
But I thought that we're not allowed to follow up on expired listings.
Where do you work?
At Century 21 here. Did you
We
know?
don't have that. We don't have that rule. The board doesn't have that rule.
How do commissions work if the property is legally tied down for 6 months to a year with the other agent?
Well, remember, that's a withdrawn, and you can't work that. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's where I
You
got.
never can get in the middle of a contract. Do not do that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. That's different than an expired. Expired is contract over. Canceled is contract over. Withdrawn is contract still in force. In force.
Okay. Got it.
That help?
Yes, thank you for the clarification, Neil. You're awesome.
Thank you. You're the only one that said that to me today. Thank you.
Oh, poor thing.
I know. I know. All right. I don't have anything else. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah, it was
It was
good.
great.
Thank you, Neil.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
You
So
guys
it's
are,
pretty much we are going back to 7 years ago or 5 years ago when we used to do business in this way.
look,
a lot,
one of the reasons,
before we get spoiled.
this is a completely side note. One of the reasons you want to be associated with a company like ours is because of our 50 years experience. I've been in every recession and every downturn that we've had, and we've come through it with flying colors. In 2008, the market went down 50, 60, 70, 80%. I mean, it was way off. And I knew that if I do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm helping the agents do what they're supposed to do, and we're focused on this, when we come out of it, which will be around 2011, 12, or 13, we're going to come out roaring. I had that conversation with my wife almost every day because it was a financial mess. All right. And you know, we needed that reassurance. The agents needed the reassurance. And fortunately, I had been through enough recessions where I'd lost a fortune. I had kept a lot of money in the last uptick, 2007, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we had a war chest, financial war chest. And we were able to not only survive, but to thrive, where we came out, we went in as a $10 million GCI company and came out in 2012 as a $30 million GCI company. And that was the agents making most of the money. We roared out of that last recession. And in fact, that's what's going to happen now because we have the experience of doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. So experience really is important. You know, so many of these companies and so many of these agents are, you know, they've signed these terrible leases. They've got, you have no idea how many brokers are out there with $20,000 and $30,000 a month leases for the next 5 years. These guys are going to, and gals are going to go bankrupt. You can't support it. There's not enough deals out there to do this, which is great for an organization like ours. So you're in the right place at the right time, you guys. Absolutely. Take advantage of it.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Neil.
Thank you. Let's rock and roll.
Yay.
Thanks, Neil.
Who's up? Who's up? Who? Who? Probably Armin. He likes that 1 o'clock slot. Armin, is it you? Can't tell. All right, let me find, where is everybody? Anybody who wants to call, jump at it. I'll figure out, I'll get the list.
Hey, boss.
Anybody? Well, send me or jump in and post it maybe, but at your convenience. I'll get somebody to do this. Who wants to make some phone calls right now? Who jump in? We don't have a 1 o'clock. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just do it when you get a chance.
Okay, sounds good.
Patty Malone, you want to make phone calls?
Josie will do it.
Josie will do it. Yeah.
until 1:30, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. And then by then I'll have the 1:30 person, I hope. Kaz, you want to make calls at 1:30?
Neil, thank you so much, sir. Well, today's my day off, actually. I just, because of your teaching and let's say Robert's every, 21 points from Mike Ferry, I jumped on the Zoom and I've learned, I thank you so much. To be direct is the very powerful, and I'm as amiable, I'm not direct, and I lose because of that. Whenever I was direct, I go back to my memory. I see that people respond, I get response faster.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, sir.
So you don't want to call though?
You know what? Today is my day off. Now I'm sitting in a mall with my iPad and I was taking notes.
Hello?
Got it. All right, Kaz.
Yes,
Talk to you
hi,
later.
my name is Josie Jellick. I'm a real estate agent here in the area. And I'm calling about one of your properties that was for sale some time ago over here on Windspun Drive. Have you sold that or are you still looking to get it sold? Okay, so you okay, I understand. That's fine. Great. Do you have any other properties that you're looking to sell or take advantage of our market right now? We're seeing multiple offers once again. Were you aware of that? Okay. Okay, well, good for you. And it's a great place to live. I live here too. Do you know anybody else